Hi guys, my name's Jamie York and this is my first ever property investment review, and I'm keeping myself accountable. This is something I'm going to look to do and release a video every single month with properties we're looking at, purchasing and selling, and I'm going to be showing you the good, the bad and the ugly of property investment and what you should look for when you're going around your opportunities. So this particular property is in Leeds, LS9. It's available to us at around £72,000. It is a 4-bed, 3-story property. So let's jump in, get inside and have a look around. Okay, so this is obviously the kitchen. So some people might be watching this, or you might be watching this thinking, you know, it's kind of weird having a kitchen in an annex type building, but actually it's all the way the same to the left, to the right, the whole road. So even if a toilet is downstairs or something, if it's in keeping with what's in the area, then it's okay, it's normalized, standardized, and so I just have that. So not a lot we can do with the layout in this kitchen. So what we would do is just rip it all out, start again. It's gonna need new electrics, rip the tiles off, rip all this crap out, and put a new kitchen in. Okay, so we're walking into what will be the dining room of the property, or second lounge, whatever you want to say. So with this sort of property, actually, normally we'd come into it and as is at the beginning, but it was at neck height. The guy was an absolute hoarder, so we had to clear it out to even get in to shoot this video. So again, sometimes you can lack inspiration. I think there's a couple of things to take in mind when you're refurbing a property. First of all, look at the vision of it. So it's a relatively decent sized room. There's a nice fireplace. I mean, there's a horrible fireplace, but it will be a nice fireplace. Really high ceilings in here. And I think the things that you need to remember is when you've got a property like this and you're doing a full refurb, it is a full refurb. Sometimes it's easy to walk along and go, oh, you know what, if I sand the architrave down, that'll be okay. No, it won't. It's really going to look out of place. So big thing here is fire hazard polystyrene ceiling. So this property, you've got the front room. It's a little bit echoey, but it's a decent size for the area. Obviously, again, needs a full refurb, and throughout this property, especially at the front of the property, there's a huge amount of natural light coming in, which is really nice throughout the day. There's not really much else to say about this property. Next room. And there's a basement. Okay, so with this sort of basement, it's kind of caved in. There's not a lot we can do with the space. So really, this is just going to be a storage space or a hobby space like the old gent that lived here before. The property comes with its own isolation area where you can get away from the family. Also in the basement. So I'm a big believer as an entrepreneur in netting time. One thing you can guarantee in LS9, it's a good workout from the stairs. So this is I'm actually out of breath from going up the stairs. Small box bedroom, again, not a lot to say. Main thing is polystyrene tiles, fire hazard, out. So this would be my reflection room where I contemplate life. But for now, it's the bathroom. Again, the person that lived here, obviously somewhat disabled with the shower and stuff like that. But again, what we do here is just strip it back to, I imagine, your bread and butter family, couple of kids moving in. So we need to find a way to reconfigure this and put in a bath as well, which obviously most families do want. Okay, so now we're coming into the main bedroom, the master bedroom, or what I like to call the romance room. So what you can see is ample light, again, huge amount of natural light coming in, massive windows coming in. But check this out. Let's say you've got number one. Oh yeah, no, that's not enough light for me. I want to read my books. Boom. That probably made no difference on the camera whatsoever coming in. But let's say, no, you know what? Time to get romantic. Ooh, I mean, the light's nowhere near where a bed will be, but I think I'm keeping the lights in. It's 3 flights of stairs in this property, 3-story, and you feel every bloody step. Coming into the top bedroom, so this is a bit of a weird one, to be honest. It's again, huge windows, so it's actually really nice views out there, to be honest. Loads of natural light, but again, just random stuff. Like you can see, this was a loft conversion. There's a load of random stuff in there. But yeah, enough space for a bedroom, but we'd need to check to make sure what sort of configuration you'd have in here for an extra bedroom, if possible. Nice room. Same layout as the front. Again, like you can see somebody's tried to squeeze something extra in here. So whether it would count as an extra bedroom or not. And it's almost almost nice views, which is exactly what you want in a property. Okay, so now we're going to cover 3 good things that I like about the property. So the first thing I really like about this property is that there's not just 1, but 2, 3, but 4 bedrooms, 4 people, money. Okay, so one good thing about this property is you can't screw it up, right? So as I said, it was up to my neck in crap as you're coming in. The guy was a hoarder, but now that it's stripped out, you can't really do worse on this. So if this is one of your first refurb projects, just do one where it is the full refurb, so you know you're doing everything. So costs can't really go much over. So there's so much opportunity with this sort of space to add a significant amount of value, which is exactly what I get excited about in an investment opportunity. Okay, so a really great thing about this property is actually the area. And when I'm saying the area, yes, walk the streets and things like that, but I don't actually mean what I'm visualizing. It's what I can see online and what's happening. So a great tool for this is Street Check. I mention it a lot in these videos, but I can see there's huge development going on in the area. There's massive infrastructure and funding coming in from the government. And all that means for property prices is on the way up. So it's not all good. Here are the 3 bad things about this property. I saw bad thing for the property, okay, when people need to look out of their windows and see something like that. Not that a church is bad, but it's not exactly typically what you want to see when you're looking out your window. Definitely impacts the value of a property. Okay, so numero 2 is some damp. So when you've got this sort of damp and it's penetrating through it and it's still wet, that is not long-standing damp. That's going to be caused from a loose tile or something else. You can see it a bit there. It's more here where it's come down. That's actually dried out now. What that tells me is actually it's not there, it's coming down from there. The issue with that and why it's so bad is it could be a bit of felting, a couple of tiles, a chippy for a day, or if there's significant damage, and this is a 3-story building with a dip at the front, so it's really hard to see the roof, is it could be a whole new roof at £4,000. And finally, the garage. So garages in this area aren't going to add too much value at all. The problem is a garage, as you can see, they're kind of like teeth. You don't really notice them unless they're really bad. And with it caved in like that, it means that we're either going to have to knock the whole thing down or put a roof on. And the problem is there's likely to be asbestos. Not great for anyone. Okay, so now the most exciting part of the property for me, the numbers. Okay, I get really excited about this. The thing that makes it a little bit more complex in this property is there's multiple exits, which is a great problem to have. So just to give you an overview, this is valued at £100,000, Rick's valuation. It's never worth 100, give or take though, but that's what they valued it at. We purchased it at 72,000. So already it's a pretty good property, right? In fact, I think that's a pretty fantastic property that we've got. So we've got a few options. If we put it straight into auction, we can sell it probably for about 95 grand. Minus all the fees, and the fact that we bought it with bridging, so 100% finance from somebody else's money, it means our return on capital is 718%. Wow. Okay, that sounds really cool, but actually that's because we barely have any money in there at all, okay? So you're going to make a ridiculous return. You need to make a logical step between do you pick the percentage or the pound return, and that will depend on the project by project basis. But that's option number 1, and what that would mean if we chucked it into auction, which is December the 15th for this year's auction, or the next auction coming up, is we would make around £13,000 profit if we got it in auction within a couple of months. Option number 2 is to do up the property, refurbish it and sell it on. The numbers in this property, there's a lot of work, and because it's over 3 stories, and this is something you should factor in, anything that is odd about the property adds cost and typically lowers resale value. So this is a 3-story property, which means plastering, electrics, etc. is more expensive, more channeling to do and tunnels, etc. So it's going to cost around £22,500, so quite expensive refurb for what we typically do, but we're going to be able to revalue it at £125,000. Once we've refinanced, got some money out, we're going to have a chunk of capital there, which is fantastic. And with the money that's left in, we're going to make a 23% return on capital employed. We aim for a minimum on refinance of 15% ROCE, which means we're getting 23%, which is better than the 0.F all that we're getting in the bank right now. Option number 3, and the final option, is to do it up and sell it. I probably wouldn't go through the effort of that right now, because if we did refurbish it and sell it, we'd be putting all of the money in, selling it, and probably making about 18 to 19 grand profit. But it's such a great area. If I'm going to put in the effort of refurbishing it, the time and the extra money, I'd probably hold on to it. But they're the 3 options and the numbers that we're looking at right now.
I feel shivers down my spine. I've been waiting for a long time, so I need to make you mine. Think I want you in my bloodline. I feel shivers down my spine. I've been waiting for a long time.
Okay, so it's a great property, this one, and what we need to decide is, are we going to rent it out, flip it on, live in it, or avoid it? So I'm not going to live in it, I'm not going to avoid it. It's a great investment, so the real choice is flip it on or rent it out, and I'm going to flip it on. Okay, the reason for this is I think it's a great area, but I think there's some money to make out now. So the decision is refurb it and sell it on and get the uplift, or chuck it in auction. I'm going to go in auction. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, there's certainty in auction. When you get it offered, you're completing within a month to 4 weeks, let's say. And it's the velocity of money that's really important for me, turning it around and having the opportunity to reinvest. So that's what I'm going to be doing, straight into auction. We're flipping it on and we'll see what the numbers look like at the end.